this video, I am going to talk about my life as a foster parent. So I guess it's going to be like my journey of foster care, my experience with foster care, you know, it's going to be about foster care. So I have a little cheat sheet, well, quite a few cheat sheets here, just so I can stay on flow with everything. And this video is probably going to be long because, like, talking about foster care is not like a one hit a quitter, like one shot thing to talk about. So let's get started. And then I also see that you guys had left me some questions too about foster care, so I'm going to talk about those too. And let's see. Well, first let me talk about when I started doing this. I started the process in August of 2010, and now we are August 2014. Actually, this is so amazing because today is August 10th, 2014, and back in August 10th, 2010 was the day that I had walked into the orientation of doing foster care. So, oh my God, this is like perfect. So, quickly, I'm just going to talk about the steps of doing foster care or getting to be a foster parent. And I'm also going to link down the website where you can click on the website. You click on the link and it'll take you to the page. I think I'm going to send you directly to the page where you click on your state and it'll show who you get in contact with, who do you call or write to ask further questions, because I'm only going to talk, what I talk about is gonna be pretty general, but some stuff may be just specifically for Connecticut. And the number one thing is the name of it. In Connecticut, it's called DCF. That's the Department of Children and Families. I know some other places called CPS, that's Child Protective Services. It's all named different in different states. So when I say DCF, that's my version of Child Protective Services. So in Connecticut, it's DCF. You contact them and then you just tell them that you want to know more about becoming a foster parent. And then they'll tell you to come in for an orientation. They'll let you know what day it is, and there'll be quite a few other people coming in as well. They'll give you a lot of information. They'll ask for your name, your address, your telephone number, and your date of birth. I don't think they ask for your social security number right away. I don't think so. But just to have your name in their file, and then they'll ask you a few questions, really basic. It's basically for you to ask a lot of questions and see if this is something that you want to do, you know, because you hear a lot about it from other foster parents or previous foster children or whatever, but you don't hear it from the horse's mouth, which is the actual state. So just ask all the questions that you can when you go to that orientation, and then if you see it's something that you like, then they will invite you to take a class. And well, actually they have to come out to your home first. Before, I forgot about that. They come out to your home first. This is not the home study. This is how they do it in Connecticut. After you do the orientation, they ask for your name and all that stuff that I said. They put you on a list, and then they will hook you up with someone that's going to come out to your home and talk to you and look at your home. They're not doing the inspection yet. They just want to see that you live in a suitable home for a child. They want to make sure that the child will have another room. The room can be completely empty or it can be filled with boxes. They're not looking at that right now. They just want to see that you have room for a child. You get it? And that you're not living in a studio apartment wanting children. Once they see that your home, the basic looking around is good, then they will invite you to class. And the class that I was in is called PRIDE, P-R-I-D, and I gotta see what this stands for because I be forgetting. Okay, PRIDE stands for Parent Resources for Information, Development, and Education. So in that class, it's a 10-week class, and I went every Tuesday for like 3 hours in the evening or 2 hours in the evening. I love that class. It was like the best. It's like going to your favorite subject in school. It was like awesome. And it lasts for 10 weeks. And during that time, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be angry, you're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, because you will hear so many different stories that will break your heart, and some stories that will make you smile because you'll see they were reunified with their family, or that they were able to find a family that can take care of them. And so during that time, after you fill out a lot of paperwork, you're going to be writing your life away. It's almost like you're going to be filling out so much paperwork as if you're buying a house. If you've ever bought a house before, or buying a car, but no, a house, you fill more paperwork out, you know, and got college application stuff, you fill out a lot of paper. Then they're going to come home to your home study. The home study will be kind of towards the end of your 10-week class, and I think it's 10 weeks all over the United States. And then after that, they will come into your home and they're going to ask you a bunch of questions. They're going to ask you, how was your upbringing? How did your parents discipline you? How will you discipline your children? If you don't have any kids and you're fostering, they're going to ask you why you're not having any children. They're going to ask you, have you had any severe losses in your life, like a divorce? Or have you lost a job, lost a loved one, had any miscarriages, things like that. They want to know, because those type of losses can send a person into depression, you know? So they want to make sure that you're like stable mind. If you have had any one of those losses within the last year, I think, between 6 months to a year, they're going to tell you hold off and come back later and do foster care. I'm not sure if that's the rule or if that's just how that particular caseworker was, or how Connecticut is. So remember, the things that I'm saying is what I went through, and it's not necessarily all over the place. Oh, my necklace is turned around. I had to turn it around because my foster daughter, kept pulling on it, so I had to turn it around. Back to the program. So they're going to ask you so many different questions. And if you answer, like, they asked me if I was married before, and I told them yes, and I've been divorced. They're going to ask you, how's that relationship? Why did you get divorced? How do you feel? They're going to ask you, did you have to go to therapy for it? Then they ask you, are you currently in a relationship? How many relationships have you been in? And then, why did they break up? Like, have you been involved in any domestic violence? Have you been involved in any drugs, any alcohol? It's like serious. Like, you're like going to be working for like the CIA or the FBI or something like that. I don't even think they ask that many questions when you go into the service. It's like, for real. To make sure that you are like all there and not cuckoo. And then when she came out to my house about 3 times. The first time was to ask a couple questions. The second time she had to finish the case study, because she was there like an hour and a half each time. And then the last time she was there maybe like 20-30 minutes, and that's when she walked through your home. Now at this time, the room has to be done. Smoke detectors have to be set. If you're getting little children, you have to make sure that the outlets have to be closed, have to be baby proof. You need your crib, you need your bed. It needs to look like as if I was to bring a child in your home in 1 minute. Is it ready? So when they do the home study, it has to be like legit, like for real. Kind of like if someone's doing a home study or a walkthrough on a house, it has to be completely built, right? So everything has to be completely built before you pass your home study. You could have gone through all the classes and still fail your home study. So you want to make sure you have everything done. And also, you want to make sure you don't lie. I've heard stories of people lying, saying that they don't need therapy, and come to find out that they are on antidepressants. Why do you want to be a foster parent and you're on antidepressants? A child is going to stress you out. So like, what? I don't get it. Do this for the right reasons. I should have said that at the beginning of the video. Do this for the right reasons. Don't do this because you want money. You're going to get a lot of people like, oh my God, you are like an angel on earth. How do you do it? Oh, you're so wonderful. If you are really doing it for the right reasons, when people say that to you, it's not going to irk you, but it's going to kind of make you look at them like, what? How am I an angel for taking care of a child? Like, what? I got wings back there? I'm not doing anything any special. And the reason why is because you're going to have this feeling of a calling to take care of children that is not going to seem, it's not going to be fake. So you're not going to be like, oh, give me the compliments. I love the compliments. You're not going to want to do that. I don't care if I never get a compliment again a day in my life. I don't care. That's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it to take care of children. And I feel like I don't have any kids right now, like biologically. So I got love to give, you know? Once you are finished licensed, you are, you're all ready. You're all set to go. And they are going to call you. Sometimes you are going to be waiting and waiting and waiting. Back in the day, like 4 years ago and beyond, they had 2 different types of licenses. There was an adoptive license and a foster care license. I've had both of them, and I'll explain. The first one I had was adoptive because that's all I wanted. I wanted to adopt a child. I wanted to give a child a better life, and I just wanted to adopt a child. And so those are when you sit and you wait and you wait and you wait and you don't get phone calls. That's how I felt. You are going to be in a pool with the entire state. And it's almost like there's a child that's going to be up for adoption, and they're going to look at all of these different case studies that match this child, who seems like the best fit. And there could be like 40 people who meet that child. And then they go through it and they pick the one that they want. So they don't get to meet you. They don't get to know you. It's like they're learning everything from a piece of paper. And then sometimes I feel like you kind of get discriminated against. Well, in my experience, because I'm single. Well, at the time I'm single. I'm in a relationship now, but I'm speaking as if I was in the past. I was like, I'm single, and they're probably going to look at it like, this child needs to have a mom and a dad in the household. This single little girl, and I was really young when I started this. Although 4 years ago didn't seem like young, but I was in my mid-20s. So it's like, this little girl's not going to be able to do this. So I never got calls. And then when I did get a call because I matched, I never got the second call that I went to the next round of the game show. Because you go through like 3 rounds or something like that. So I said, you know what? I'm not getting any calls, and I've been holding on to my license for months. So my caseworker said, let's switch you over to foster care. And you are going to get a lot of calls, Kim. That's what they kept telling me. And they said that when you get the calls, their kids may go back home. But there are some times where you may be able to adopt a child. And even though having your adoptive license, there's a chance that the child can still go home with that, but the chances are smaller, very small, as opposed to a foster kid. Their chances are high that they're going to go back home. So they said that if you're up to it, if your heart can stand it, we will put you onto foster care. And that's when I got put onto foster care, and it's like my phone rung 2 seconds later. Fast forward to 2014, they don't have adoptive slash foster care licenses anymore. We're not even called foster parents in the state of Connecticut. We're called resource families. That's what we're called in Connecticut now. There's no different of the two. They put any child in any home. That's the way it is. Yeah. So basically, if you want to just foster in the state of Connecticut, you can't do that now. You can't just be a foster parent. You have to be a foster parent willing to adopt. So that's why the license has merged. But I'm willing to adopt anyway, so it made me no difference. And so now let's speak on about the children that I had. So far, I've been a mommy to 6 kids. I've had 4 placements. And placements mean the time that they come. So the first placement were 2 little girls. And then the second placement were 2 little twin boys. I got them straight from the hospital. They were so small. Oh my God, they were so cute. And then my third placement was a little boy you guys know by the name of Gabe. It's like my BFF. And now my 6th child is a little girl. I'm a little girl. I'm a little girl. I call her Chunks because she's just... Yeah, that's my little chunkalunks. Yes, I love that little girl. She's a little diva. But she is so lovable. I love her. And I've had her for a little bit over a month. Yeah, she came on June 30th. That's when she came. All of the other kids that I've had have gone back home with their mom or dad, or both. And it's like an emotional roller coaster. It's like your ups, your downs, your sides, because you deal with a lot of stuff. Like, imagine being in a relationship and you're not with your man no more. So you got a baby daddy. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta deal with him. Or you got an ex-husband, because some people don't like that name, baby daddy. So you're like, I gotta deal with him. Oh my God, he's getting on my nerve. So imagine having a baby mama and a baby daddy. So I got baby mamas and I got baby daddies. So I have to deal with both. Sometimes I want to meet them. Sometimes when I read the case, I'm like, I don't think this is right now. I met one parent before, and that was the twins' mom, and she was spicy when I first met her. We met at the doctor's office when I took the kids to one of their physicals, and she was spicy. She was pissed. And I was like, okay, hi. Y'all know how I am. I killed that girl with kindness, straight murdered her with kindness. It was like resuscitation. And at the end, when it was time to bring those 2 little kids home, that girl was apologizing. She was like, I'm so sorry. It wasn't you. You can understand. It's just a situation. I ran into her later, and she was like, wait a minute, because she worked at one of the Dunkin' Donuts. And she was like, wait a minute. Look who is at my window. And she started screaming. She's like, oh my God, how are you doing? I said, how you doing? How the boys? She's like, oh my God, they're getting so big. She was trying to show me pictures. Everything. It's like you feel excited when you get to see that after they're gone home and you get to see how they are. But I didn't get to see that with Gabe because I reached my hand out to Gabe's mom and she like, but it's okay. I kind of understand that because I had Gabe for over a year. The boy was calling me mommy, and when I told him to start calling me Kim, he didn't want to. He was getting upset. So I said, okay, you can call me mom, but you also have to understand you have a mommy. So I'll be like, where's mom? And he'd be like, right there, right there. And he would point to me, and I would say, where's mommy? Out there. And he would point to the door. And I'm like, you gonna go see mommy tomorrow? Okay. So he knew the difference. And then when he started having like overnight visits with his mom, he stopped calling me mom. He would say, Kim, Kim, come, Kim, Kim. I'm like, oh, he understands he's going home. I haven't seen him since. He's been gone for over a year, almost a year and a half, I think now. He's been gone. And one of my friends ran into him. So they got to see how he was. They said he looks the exact same, still chunky, but real tall now. So that's good. He's like 3 now, or like 3.5 now. It's great. I like hearing stories about stuff like that. But the other 2 girls that I had, I haven't heard anything about them. And hopefully I could keep little mama for a long time, if not forever. But if not, her mom lived in the same town as I do, so maybe I'll run into them one day. And that's kind of scary when someone lives in the same town as you. So that's what I'm nervous about. And that's why I'm really not saying her name on camera and stuff like that. But yeah. Now I'm going to go on to the questions because I got a few questions. I told you guys to write on Instagram the questions, so I'm just going to go through them really quickly. Some of them I probably answered with just talking. The first one is it or was it a hard process to become a foster parent, and do you have to be married to be a foster parent? I would love to foster in the near future, and I don't really know the first steps to start. Thank you for all that you do. Okay, well, I feel that I kind of answered the first question, you have to be married. If you watch my channel and look at my fingers, you know I'm not married. So you don't have to be married to be a foster parent. You just have to be able to financially take care of yourself. You don't have to be rich. You do not have to own a home. As long as you are renting and as long as you have a separate room for yourself and a separate room for that child, then you're okay. You cannot share the same room with that child. So don't even think about that. And I don't know if this is with everywhere, but in the state of Connecticut, you have to have your bedroom and the child's bedroom on the same floor. There are some homes that have like one bedroom downstairs and like 2 or 3 bedrooms upstairs. So you give the child a bedroom downstairs because that's the only room that's left. You can't do that. You better move somebody else downstairs because you and that foster child have to be on the same floor. Don't know why, but you have to be on the same floor with the child. And the home has to be like you have to have your smoke detectors. It has to be clean, and I'm not talking about like spick and span spotless where I got like lick my tongue on the floor. Not like that, but you know what I mean. It can't be like hoarder status. You can't have like cockroaches and like rats. You know, come on, be for real. It has to look the way you would want to live there. You know, you don't have to be married. Let's see. But if you are married, and I am serious about this, if you are married, you and your husband or you and your wife need to be on one accord with this, because they are not going to foster. Let's say you're the female, you're the wife that's looking at this video. They're not just going to foster you and your husband do whatever you want to do. Well, honey, I support everything that you do because you a stay-at-home mom, so you can foster some kids. I got to go to work and bring home the bacon. Okay. No. You are both going to be foster parents. You both have to go to the classes. You both have to be screened with the FBI and the state. You are both going to be fingerprinted. You are both going to be investigated and interviewed. There's no if, and, ways, or buts about that. You are both going to be foster parents. You cannot have one parent wanting to be a foster parent and the other one not. It does not work like that. So if your husband does not agree with this, you cannot do it behind his back. It don't work that way. And if your wife does not agree with this, you cannot do this behind her back. You both have to be in agreement. Also, and I'm serious about this one, if you have children in your home, that your biological children, and you've had your baby and you want another child, but you can't have another child, or you just don't want to put your body through that again and you want to foster, please talk to your children or your child, whatever little people are in your home, please talk to them, because it affects them too. Because you know how sad you would get if a child leaves? Imagine how sad that kid is going to be. They might have shared their room with that child for a year. Shared their room, shared their toys, had fun, played with them, got little arguments, you know, because they're going to be siblings, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Sometimes kids can't process that my little brother or my little sister's not here anymore. So you have to be on one accord. And if you and your husband are in agreement with it, but your little son or your little daughter don't agree with this, don't do it. It's a family thing. And personally, I feel this is your first go around with foster care and you really don't know what's going on. You got some small children. Let's say you got like a 2 and a 4-year-old. Please do not foster a 12 or a 15-year-old. You need to foster people in your children's age group or younger, because a lot of these kids, especially older, and if they've been bounced around the system, they're going to come with a lot of baggage. You don't want them picking on your children. You don't want that. You don't want them to like be a bully to your kids. So get kids that are around your children's age. Once you're hip with it and you know how to handle a child with behavioral problems, maybe you can venture in getting kids a little older than your biological kids. But me personally, if I had biological children, I would never foster anyone older than my biological children. And they tell you that in class too. They tell you to really think about that, like really, really think about it. But once again, your whole household needs to be on one accord. Like, no. It can't be that one person wouldn't do it, the other person don't. Because let's say that it was like that. Let's say that even if the wife did talk her husband into going through the process of it and he got licensed too, if his heart really isn't in it, that child's going to sense that. And what child wants to be in a household where both parents don't like them? They've been taken away from a situation that wasn't healthy to go into another unhealthy situation. So please be on one accord when you're doing this. Don't feel like this is something that I just have to do in my life because I just have to do it. But your husband doesn't want to do it or your wife doesn't want to do it. Well, then you don't want to do it. It's not going to happen anyway because they're going to interview you. They're going to interview you separately. They're going to interview your husband separately. They're going to interview you together when they do the home study. They're going to ask you about your relationship. Do you guys love each other? Do you have any arguments? Is there any domestic violence? Is there any abuse? Like when you guys have arguments, do you argue in front of the children? How do you resolve arguments? Do you go to bed angry? Have you guys ever talked about separating? How long have you been married? Have you guys ever went through a divorce? They ask you stuff like that, like crazy. You would think you are in a therapist's office. You would think you need to go lay on the couch. And then they will also interview your children if you have children in the home, because they want to see, is this just mommy and daddy forcing this on you? How do you feel about it? Because if I was a little kid, I would be like,
hello, I want to have a say in this too, because I'm going to have to share my room. I'm going to have to share my toys. I'm going to have to share my mommy and daddy with a stranger.
So you see what I'm saying? The whole family need to be on one accord. Now I know I went off on a tangent and I answered that question and then I talked about something else. But let's go to the next question. It says, please share good resources to learn more about foster parenting. Do you know of good support groups for prospective foster parents? I don't know any support groups for people who are not even foster parents. I don't think there is such thing. You start to get that support system when you are in the motion of the ocean of going into being a foster parent. There's really nothing. Well, there is a forum that you could read. I love that forum. It's like the foster care adoption forum. I'll write it right here. The actual web address. It's a lot of foster parents that talk about their experiences. It's amazing, and you hear from all over the country. And I read that all the time. Just, when you're feeling down and you're feeling frustrated, because this is a really stressful job. I'm just gonna let you know. It's no cakewalk, no walk in the park, no running through clouds or a field of daisies or lollipops. There's no running down the yellow brick road. It's some serious stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like great, It's very. You feel like you've done something in the world, You put a spark in a little kid's eye, and you put a little beat in their heart, I'm gonna, like I said before, I am gonna link down the website below that where you could click on and you know where to go, because I don't know what state you live in. So it's best for me to direct you to a website that you can find for your state and then call them, and then maybe they have something in your state. Because let's say in Connecticut we don't have no pre-foster parent support groups. We have foster support groups. Like, you have to be the actual license to go to these support groups. But let's say if you live in Wisconsin, they might have something like that. Or if you live in Indiana, they might have something like that. So I don't really want to say it doesn't exist, but it's pretty much not going to really exist. But, but don't hold me to it. Is how soon after the impact/foster care foster training classes will the home study take place? Furthermore, how long after the home study and complete the impact training are you placed with a child? What ideas do you have for preparing for a child for a visit with their parents? like positive advice, encouragement. Last question. What ideas do you have in keeping in lines of communication open with the birth parents and child? Example, scrapbook, the foster child's accomplishments, or activities the child participated in during the week. Thank you so much. I enjoy your video about the diaper bag. I'm on my 4th week of impact training. So excited. Oh, congratulations. I know you are excited because it is an exciting thing. It's almost like you're pregnant, but you don't have the back pain, the swellingness, and you don't got the kicks and the heartbeats and nothing like that you be feeling. But you know that a child is coming, so you're preparing. It's so great. It's this whole different feeling. It's like amazing. But anyway, see, like in that state, she's calling it impact training. We didn't call it that. We call it pride training. Now, let's see, your home study should be happening the same time as your impact training. Well, in my state it did. It didn't happen in the beginning. It happened in week 9 and 10. So however many weeks you're in, because usually it's 10 weeks. I haven't heard of it being shorter or longer in any other state. It's 10 weeks. So usually around week 9 or 10, you will have it. You're not going to have it in the beginning. You're going to have it close to the end. So you get your home study. After the home study is done and you've went to your class, you graduated, we had our little party at the end, and after everything is done, no one else is coming to your home, you're not going to classes no more, everything's finished, it usually takes about a month to actually be licensed, because they have to take all that information that they did on your home study and put it together so that the higher ups can read it and see, is this person stable? No one to scare you, because if you're honest and you are a good person, you're passing. It's not like getting into like Harvard, Yale, or it's not like trying to pass the bar of like be a lawyer or anything. It's nothing like that. It's all about your personality and who you are. If you're a good person and an honest person, you'll do fine. So then, now let's say you got license and everything, you got your license in the mail, you ready to go. Telling you how long it's going to take to get a phone call, no one can really give you that answer, because it all depends on a lot of things. It depends on if there's any kids in the system that meet your home study. Not saying there's any kids in the system, because there's a lot of kids in the system, but a lot of people want little children. Some people want teenagers. Some people just want girls. Some people just want boys. Some people only want African American children. Some people only want Caucasian children. Some people, I don't know. So you know that you have to, they have to meet your home study. So if they meet your home study, you may get a lot of calls. I feel the older, in Connecticut, the older the child is on your paper, like your age range, the more calls you get. My age range is 0 to 2. So birth, well, not really birth, like 6 weeks old to 2 years old. Sometimes I'll go up to 3, and that's my study. A lot of people don't, like when the kid is that little and they go into foster care, usually a family member takes that child. Grandma steps up, an aunt or uncle steps up, or a sibling or a cousin steps up. So they usually don't really go into foster care right away, unless they come with a sibling group. Like Gabe, there was 5 of them. He had 4 brothers. I didn't have all of them. They were at other foster homes, and since Gabe was the little one, he came with me, and 2 of his brothers went to a home together, and the other 2 brothers went in a home together. So when you get like a big sibling group like that, usually family members don't want to take care of their family members' children, because there's so many of them. So then they end up going into foster care. But if your age range is like 0 to 18, girl, you're gonna get calls every day. Your first call, you're gonna be willing to, you're gonna want to take that call right away. You're like, yeah, I'll take them. But really listen to what they're telling you on the phone and realize, is this something that I can handle? Like I got a call, when I had Gabe, I got a call for a little boy. They said, I want you to do respite. And respite is like, kind of like a sleepover. That's the easiest way I could think of it. Where they stay with you for maybe a day. The maximum is like 3 days a week. That's the maximum they stay with you. If it's longer than that, they're not respite. That's your foster child. So respite is usually like an overnight or a weekend type of thing. And they said, can you take this child for, I think they said for a few days. They didn't even give me a specific date. They said, can you take him for a few days? And the first thing that popped in my mind was like, sure, it's over the weekend, just a few days, and Gabe will have a playmate, because he said he was 1 year old. So I said, okay. And I was about to ask more questions, but before I asked more questions about the child, because I want to make sure that he's not in a wheelchair, I have to make sure that he's like physically able, because I live on the 2nd floor of a house and I can't carry a wheelchair up and down the stairs. So, before I could even ask about any of his health issues, she said,
"But I do want to let you know that he does come with a 15-year-old mother."
I was like, wait, what? Then I would be her foster mom because she has the rights of her son. You mean, do you want me to foster a 15-year-old girl and she comes with her 1-year-old son? Not the other way around. You see what I'm saying? They could be slick sometimes. They could be real sneaky to get them kids up in your house. So you got to listen to the things that they say and do not feel bad for saying no. It hurt me to the core to say no. But I cannot have a 15-year-old girl in my home. It's like, not to sound mean, but it's almost like this. She's a stranger coming into my home. I would have to leave a key for her. So you are leaving a key for an adult, basically, in your home. I don't know if she has behavioral problems. I don't know if she's a runaway. I don't know if she has a drug problem. I don't know if she has a boyfriend, you know? So, and I don't want her to be like, well, I'm not giving you no key. You better sit on the stoop when you come home from school until I get home. I don't want to do that. So I would have to give her a key. So your home is open to a complete stranger for a few days. And then if the little boy is being bad, I don't want her to be like, you can't tell my son no. You can't be telling him what to do. I'm his mama. So I was like, I'm not prepared to take care of a big kid right now, especially a female, because I know how big females can be because I was a big female before, like a teenager, and I was sassy at one point. So I just take care of little children for right now. And then if the little child grows up, they went with me. I'm mommy now. I haven't had you since you was a baby. We know each other. So, but each person is different. You may love taking care of teenagers, but at my stage in life right now, I don't think I'm ready for having a big child right now. But you can see how sometimes they lie to get these kids in here. Another thing, if you have just small things circle on, like, not small things circle, but if you don't circle a lot of stuff on your home study, your calls may be less. So to speak, let's say if you are a Caucasian family, but you don't want African American children, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel if you don't want African American children because they don't look like you, and you don't want to get stared at in public, or you don't know how to raise a black child, that's perfectly fine. I admire you for admitting that you can't do it, and so forth, you didn't do it. But realize if in your state, if the statistics are high for black children to be in foster care in your state, your calls are going to be like a little bit, because that means you basically not taking half of the population in DCF or CPS or whatever it's called in your state. But with that being said, do not circle everything if you're not willing to take it. I've seen some people circle everything on their home study because they just want a kid. I just want a kid. Then when they get a black kid, they're like, oh man. So it's like me, I don't care what race you are. I've had my girls, they were mixed. They were black and Spanish. My 2 twin boys, they were black. Gabe was black. My little mamacita right now, she's not even black. I don't care what the race is. My family is a mixing pot of everything. We have Italians in my family. We got Filipinos in my family. We got Jamaicans in my family. We all over the place. So we, in my family, we don't look at color. We look at the type of person, what type of person you are. So when my little mamacita came to live with me, the people in my family didn't even blink. They were just like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Her race never came up. Because I don't care. But if you feel in your heart that it's going to be uncomfortable to bring a child that doesn't look like you, like the color doesn't look like yours, then because you're scared about what your family going to say, or you're scared about what your friends going to say, your coworkers going to say, something like that, then don't take that race. And I don't want to say it's like white people scared to take care of black babies, because it could be black people scared to take care of white babies. So if you're black and you don't want to take care of white or Spanish because they don't look like you with your skin color, like you can kind of play it off. If you're a black parent with a black child, you could play it off like that's your child, because everybody thought Gabe was mine. But when people look at my little one, they know she's not mine because we don't look alike, kind of thing like that. So but I don't care, stare at me. Like, I don't care, stare at me. What I do with people in public. Don't what you staring at for? Like, this rude. And they have support groups for stuff like that, for being in a transracial family. They have support groups like that. And then what else? I know this video is extremely long, but it's gotta be long. I feel like I can't make this video like 2 minutes long or 5 minutes long. But what else? Let's see. I have more stuff on my paper. What else? Oh, you did ask you did ask about getting them ready to go on visits. Just pack a bag as if you were sending them to daycare, or pack a bag like you're sending them to go to a sleepover. If they're a baby, it's pretty easy. If they're a big kid, they just walk out the door. Like, put a snack in the backpack and they walk out the door. If that child is with you for a very long time, and you hear that this case is going to be like a long-term thing, not a permanent thing. Long-term and permanent are two different things in foster care. Long-term could mean that child could be with you for like 5 years. Permanent means that child is yours on paper, legally yours, your responsibility. They are getting better with trying to not keep kids in the system for them 5 years. It's usually like up to the 2-year mark, and then they need permanency. But if they're a baby, you just pack a diaper bag, because if they're with you for like long term, then the parents are not getting overnight visits. So they're not sleeping over. You don't need pajamas and all this stuff. You may need to change your clothes if they're a baby, because if they spit up on themselves. But you just pack a bag like you're going to daycare, or pack a bag like they're going. Like, let's say you're like, Mom, I need you to watch my daughter for the day. I have something to do. And how would you pack your bag to send them over Mom's house? Kind of thing like that. It's the same thing. And with older kids, they have their little backpack and put some snacks in it and they're all set. As far as the communication with the biological parents while you have their foster children, do not be overly trying to push yourself on them, because they're upset. Their child has been taken away and you're taking their child. You, when in their diaper bag or in their older kid's backpack, put a letter in there. You don't have to sign your name, because sometimes it makes you uncomfortable. You don't have to put your address, nothing. Or if you just want to put your first name or your nickname or whatever, just write a letter and be as honest and be as nice and polite as you can. Say, and whatever you want to say in the letter, and wait for them to respond. If they put a letter in return in their child's bag, then you know that the communication is open. If they don't, leave it alone. Then as far as, what was the other one? Positive advice. Well, that's the positive advice that I could give you. With scrapbooks. I don't give parents constant pictures. I don't do that. Because they're seeing their child. They're seeing their child every week. Sometimes they see them a couple of times a week, so they know what their child looks like. Now, if they're not seeing their child, let's say if they're incarcerated or something like that, and they don't see their child for months or years, then you can start sending pictures, because they're not seeing their child. I did give Gabe's mom this, because we went on a photo shoot and we took pictures, and I did give that, I gave a set to his mom and a set to his dad, and they both loved it. They both sent letters back to me. So that was amazing. But at the end, when they go home, I make a DVD for them, because every time they're with me, from the first day they're here to the day they leave, I take pictures, I take videos of their first step, first day of school, when they're out playing, if they're in a cute little outfit, around Christmas time, around their birthday. I constantly take pictures, constantly take video. So when they leave, I compile all that on a DVD, and I put that in the bag. And so when they go home, they can watch the DVD. Either the child can watch it or the parents can watch it. So that's what I do. I send home like a DVD, or you can send home a scrapbook if you're not really technical savvy. But you can send stuff like that. But as far as like communicating with the parents, don't be pushy with it. Yeah. So I think that is all that I have. I do have a blog. I haven't put anything on my blog in a long time, but I have an in-depth details about my journey of being a foster parent. So I will link that down below. You guys can go to it and you can read it. It's about 4 or 5 entries, because I did, each entry was titled, some was home study, orientation, pride class, license. Like, I labeled each thing, so you could, if you're only interested in one particular part, you can go straight to it. I put a lot of my heart into it, so I put a lot of detail in there. But if there's any other questions you have about it, just leave it in the comments below. Maybe I can answer it for you, or any other foster parent that's watching this video can answer. I love foster care. I've had happy times. I've had aggravating times. I've cried. I've even cried on camera before, which I took that video down because y'all don't need to be looking at them ugly tears. Being a foster parent is amazing. And I love talking about it because it inspires others to be in foster care, like to do foster care. But my number one thing is do it for the right reasons. Don't do it for money, because if you're doing it for money, you ain't gonna get none, because they don't pay you nowhere near as much as you spend on the child if that's what you're doing it for. And they're not paying you, you're getting reimbursed. That child is with you for a month and a half before you even get a check. So how are you feeding them that whole month and a half? How you feeding them? How you clothing them? Because half the time they don't come here with anything. Like, I put tons and tons of money into the children that I have because I want to do it. I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for like the prestige, like so people can see you like, oh, look at her, she's a walking angel, she's like the next Mother Teresa. Don't do that, because at the end of the day, and you close that door, if you're doing it for the outside world to see you, at the end of the day, when you close that door and you at home, you got to deal with those kids, you know, and they're gonna drive you crazy if you're not doing it for the right reasons. But I love it. I'll keep on doing it forever and ever, and I really feel like it was something I was supposed to do. And two of my aunts were foster parents, and another aunt of mine adopted. So adoption, foster care, it's all in my family, and it's what I grew up with, so it's normal to me. And I think that's all I want to say. This video is long. I know it's like over 30 minutes long, but you guys asked for this video. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.